Ever notice, like, when you put a but on anything, it always confirms the thing you said wasn't true?
Yeah.
I don't hate you, but I do have some complaints. It's like, it doesn't matter. It still negates it.
So we're talking about Halloween.
Are we?
Is there a but to Halloween?
Is there a but to Halloween or Halloween 2? Is that what you're trying to ask me?
That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm prying at. Like a crackhead under the bathroom sink, prowling.
Something you know a little too much about, it would seem.
Yeah. Well, you learn a lot about people what to keep under their sink in the bathroom.
That's very true. Halloween, 1978. Great. Arguably a masterpiece. Watershed film. Changed cinema forever. Created a subgenre that didn't technically exist until it happened, right? There were similar films of the ilk, right? Psychos, Peeping Toms, Black Christmases. They happened. Texas Chainsaw. Then Halloween happens, and it's like, oh, this is a genre now. So much so that the genre demanded a sequel.
As they usually do.
They didn't at the time. That's the point. Now it's dictated. Now there's a sequel before the first film's done filming. You're like, oh, we got 2 more coming. Hope this one works.
all that you need to confirm a sequel is, did it do okay at the box office?
If that.
Or on streaming.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Whatever the hell it's on.
Yeah.
If enough motherfuckers watch it, they want you to watch it again in part 2.
Yeah.
See anything you like?
John Carpenter's Halloween, a standalone masterpiece, right? Completely destroyed, pissed on the ashes, burned the corpse, pissed on the ashes of sequelizing, right? Cannibalistic sequelizing happens, right? You end up with like fucking 8 sequels or 7 sequels that just make it worse and worse and worse. Halloween becomes an open wound. You know, the scar would have healed after that first film, but then it just kept happening over and over again. The amount of sequels is just really pissed in the mouth that was Halloween. Halloween said, we did a good job. But something simple gets completely complicated by a over-explanation, right? But a question I'm curious to pose to you is, if Halloween had ended with Halloween 2, would it have still worked? Despite the revelations. I mean, in the sense that, like, okay, so Halloween happens, it's a motiveless killer situation, right? Second movie comes around and you find out there is a connection. But if they had ended it there, would it have been okay to make that revelation if it hadn't got worse and worse with what would come later, which is, well, now he's trying to hunt down all of his living relatives, and anyone sharing the Myers bloodline has to die because of some fucking witchcraft and Stonehenge. It gets fucking wild. Okay?
Yeah.
It gets real fucking weird at some point. Question is, that shit's bad.
Yeah.
But if Halloween happens and then Halloween 2 happens and you get the subtle revelation of like, oh, well, it happens to be his sister. Maybe it's kind of happenstance. Would it have been an okay revelation if they ended there? Because the thing is, they had to end it there. Because then once they just continue down that path, it just really falls apart.
Yeah.
That's the question I'm asking, right? You understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I've probably maybe over-explained the question that I'm asking, but it's just a thing that I think about occasionally where it's like, because Halloween 2 is a good movie, especially compared to other Halloween sequels. It's not as good as the first one, but as far as like a continuation, it's pretty good and it holds up pretty well. But the problem becomes like some of the story choices and the character revelations, where it's just like, we don't need this. But then again, the sequel kind of doesn't happen without it. As in, like, why the fuck would he take his ass to the hopsicle?
Yeah.
To the hospital, right?
Yeah.
It's a Rugrats reference, sorry. There's a Rugrats reference.
Oh, okay. I'm only good for one a day.
Yeah. So, anyway. The point is that, like, the sequel doesn't happen if there's not a connection between him and Laurie. Unless he's just a rabid dog. He's like, I was going to kill that motherfucker, and I'm going to catch up. Which is kind of his thing, in a sense. But the point is, like I said, they really start to fuck it up, because Michael's not in part 3, but they really start to fuck this whole idea up in part 4, where it's like, well, now he's after his niece. It's like, oh, this is getting weird. This is unnecessary. Okay, so I've posed the question.
Yeah.
Can you give me some thoughts?
Well, it's always tricky
Right.
trying to justify a sequel, and
Yeah.
if it holds up, because it is a good movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, you don't need those revelations. I mean, you don't need them. But if they needed the sequel, they wanted the sequel.
Right. They
They had to have something.
I see your point. Yeah.
But
A reason for it to continue. Yeah.
so, I mean, I don't hate the second one by any means. But then that's just the nature of the sequel. Every time you have one, you've got to take it further down this ridiculous rabbit hole.
That's what people argue. I don't think that's true. Jeepers Creepers. He spent 3 films teasing that monster, and they gave away nothing. They hint that there's something there, but they never give any of it away. At all. You get, about his backstory.
Yeah.
As in, like, what's the motivation of the monster in Jeepers Creepers? Well, obviously he needs to feed, but that's where it ends. There's nothing beyond that. There are moments where characters kind of figure it out for themselves, but it's never spelled out to the audience. Do you know what I mean? So,
Well, that's
some twisted filmmakers kind of figured it out a little bit. I'm just saying. Obviously, the third is lesser than the first two.
well, that's
The first one's a masterpiece. I want Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, you can do it without spoiling the monster. And that's the thing that people fuck up is that they lots of horror series like Jason a little bit, Freddy Krueger especially, they start spelling out his backstory more and more, and it makes the monster less interesting. Michael Myers works. He's a shadow.
Yeah.
You don't need any more explanation than that. I understand your point. That's always been the argument, but I've seen where it's worked where people didn't do that. They didn't give away the monster.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But maybe it's only Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, you see, that's
Might be the only
a
one.
sequel done right as far as the monsters,
It's all the monster,
motives, or
Yeah,
not giving too much
not
away.
Giving it away. Not giving any of it away.
So that, I mean, obviously, Halloween 2 would have been even better
If they didn't
if they would have chose something else. Because once you choose to go down the sister path, and then you just use that to continue to keep killing relatives, then you've just taken away the mystery. So now you know what he's after.
arguably, that's probably where they fucked up in part 4. Like, they didn't have to go that route. Because part 2 could have ended. Michael Myers in a fiery death, or essentially. Laurie Strode survived, sure. They didn't have to follow that through in part 4. So possibly part 4 is the problem, not part 2 as much.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
2, they didn't overdo it on 2.
Right. Well,
I still didn't love those choices, but overall the movie was fine.
Sure.
But it's just when you keep down that same path, there's nowhere to go.
Right. It just really narrows the potential of the story, right? Because, like I said, I don't know who to blame. Do you blame Halloween 2 or Halloween 4, right? Because Halloween 2, like, I think there's an argument to be made that if they take the route that, okay, well, that it happens to be his sister. You take a killer, a psychopath. This guy does a kill. He kills a 17-year-old girl. When he was a child, obviously. He kills this girl, 17.
I watched him for 15 years.
Breaks out. Happens to stalk his own little sister. Whether he realizes it or not, who knows, right? I guess he does know, right? According to part 2, he knows. She's also 17. He is a lunatic who just wants to kill. He kills indiscriminately, essentially. And perhaps he's trying to relive the night that defines him, which is the killing of his older sister. Now he's broken out when his other sister is 17, and he wants to repeat the kill. Because psychopathic people do that. You know what I mean? They want to relive the night. They want to relive the murder. They'll return to the scene of the crime. So somebody will kill someone in a house, and then on the anniversary break into that house and sniff the carpet, essentially. I can see you could kind of do that where it's not some kind of bullshit witchcraft as to why he has to kill her. You know, because they try to tie it into like Celtic mythology, which I understand why they would try because it takes place on Halloween. That's not important. You don't need it necessarily. But what I'm saying is I can see from a psychological standpoint you can do that he goes after his sister, but that shouldn't be his only motivation, if a motivation at all. Understand what I'm saying? Or am I fucking rambling?
You must think me a very sinister doctor.
You could do that story where it all lines up, but it's not his only motivation. So after part 2 is over, sure, he missed the window on killing the sister, but when he comes back 10 years later, He could just come back for the killing spree because he's trying to relive the murder on Halloween night.
Yeah.
That is it. That's what he does essentially in 2018. He's not coming back for anybody. He's trying to do what he does, which is I'm reliving that sacred memory because to him it's important. There's no motivation. It's just kill on Halloween because that's what I did. It's a psychosis problem. Mm-hmm. So you could do that and then move on after part 2 without fucking up the mythology. But the problem is they fucked up the mythology, right?
Yeah.
So like I said, and then so does it work in isolation? I don't quite know how to say yes or no.
Well, I still don't like the sister storyline.
Right, I agree.
But overall, it's a decent horror slasher movie.
Yes. You know, okay, so let's focus on if Halloween 1 and 2 work as a double feature in the sense of continuity, style. Because therein lies a bit of a problem too.
Yeah.
As in, like, one thing I noticed right away, as soon as the first film cuts to the second one, the color timing is different. Like the color, like the film's way more saturated. The night scenes are much brighter, and that might be Dean Cundey, who's like, I need to turn the aperture up a little bit because it was too dark in the previous film. Because the first movie's pretty dark in those nighttime scenes, so that could just be a choice in his part where he's like, I learned my lesson, crank it up a couple notches. But it takes me out of it. It distracts me. I'm like, this is not the same night. It's just too bright and it's too saturated. Laurie's wig is fucking terrible. Because, like, we're essentially going to be talking about Halloween 2 in terms of, like, overall content at this rate if we're going to focus on this. But fucking, you want to talk, like, the kill style?
Yeah.
To go from the first movie to the second one? It's night and day. It's a chick who gets her face dipped in hot boiling water and her skin melts off her face. And then he drops her dead body on the floor and they just linger on her dead, rotted off face. And it's like, that's not how the first movie was at all. Like, stylistically speaking.
Well,
so there's some interesting stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I mean, in terms of, you know, the stylistic transition from the first to the second.
Yeah. Well, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
You know, and how many years were between those movies?
About 3. I think 78 to 81.
And I mean, look at the classic that Halloween's grown into.
Right.
He probably would have done less jacking that aperture up. He's like, let's leave it
you're
dark.
talking about
Yeah, just like visually, stylistically.
Dean Cundey did do the cinematography on the second one. And the third one as well.
Yeah, it's like if he would have known it was going to be the classic, perhaps he would.
Well, it was just one of the, I
mean, I'm sure it was well received then, obviously, but, you know, it's iconic now.
Yeah, I wonder what that was like, because the nighttime scenes are much brighter in the sequel. You know, because you can see the transition where it cuts. It's shot pretty well. Part 2 is stylistically shot very much like the first one, which is good, but you also have Dean Cundey as a cinematographer. That is a fucking weird name to try and say, dude. So you got Dean Cundey as a cinematographer. So he comes straight off the first film. He knows the style him and John established, so it's going to look pretty similar. I do like the location choice, in the sense of a minimal staff overnight at a hospital. It's a good choice, especially when the power goes out, because it is frustrating when you're running around this bright-ass hospital, because, you know, it just doesn't look good. Yeah, there are some continuity frustrations. Like I said, Laurie Strode was a horrible wig. Horrible. He's, what's her face?
And this was on the same night?
Yeah, and we're talking about literally like minutes later.
So your hair looked good.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't.
Yeah. So there's just stuff like that just takes me out of it. See, I don't know who to blame. I don't know if I need to blame Halloween 2 or Halloween 4, right? If the argument is, does it work in isolation with Halloween 1 and 2, we have to ignore part 4. We have to ignore where they start expanding this mythology bullshit. Yeah, because that's the idea. Nothing exists after part 2. Does it work? Aside from continuity, right? So there's some continuity issues. It's much gorier. The next film is much more brutal. The kills are way more in your face, more violent, because they were competing with Friday the 13th openly. John Carpenter said, after 3 years, nobody's going to accept the way we did 78. This is only 3 years later, and he's like, nobody's going to buy it anymore. He's like, you got to up the kills, and you got to make them vicious and in your face. That was John Carpenter's call. Even though he didn't direct the film, he made that decision. He's like, it's got to be aggressive. So because that is one like continuity shift where you're like, oh, there's pretty simple bloodless, simple, it's more dread in the first film than it is gore. Second one's got some gore, chick takes a needle in the eyeball, shit like that, dude. It's pretty fucking gnarly. So that's the thing that does create a continuity issue. Let me think. But I mean, but story. Let's say this. Laurie Strode turns out to be the sister. They do kind of give too much motivation, because there's like a scene in the school where he like stabs a knife into a little girl on a picture of a family. Like he's trying to make it known he's hunting his sister. Therein lies a problem for me. Because if he was stalking his sister, being so blatant about it is a problem. That's too much. That's
like the killer trying to get caught.
Exactly.
Kind of stuff,
that's where I draw the line. Yeah, because there's a big thing where he paints in blood the word Sam Hain on the chalkboard. Great band. Great band, that Sam Hain. Moving on. Does it work in isolation?
Still hard to answer.
It's yeah. I'm trying to think what to say if I'm trying to say yes or no. Or is it 50-50, right?
Maybe it's 50-50. You know, maybe it got gorier, and that is a change from the first, but it's all the same night. Maybe the first movie was him just getting warmed up for the sequel, for the gore of the sequel.
Sure, because maybe after failing
Yeah.
at his mission, because maybe he was stalking his sister, and he got thwarted by Dr. Loomis, and he fell off that balcony. Now his back's really killing him.
Yeah.
He's like, that's
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I'm fucking pissed.
He got some
Because I got
bullet
three
wounds.
hours till the sun comes up. Oh, yeah, he got pumped full of lead. I forgot.
So now he's mad.
Fair enough. Okay, that'll justify the gore factor because
Okay.
he's like, I don't have time to be subtle about
Yeah.
this anymore. I got shit to do. I got people to scare.
I'm killing
That
somebody
bitch needs to know I'm serious.
by any means necessary.
Fair enough. I can see that.
But still, it doesn't have to be your sister. Maybe you're just trying to finish what you started.
Sure, I agree with that entirely because that's what I think.
Yeah.
Later sequels ended up going for. I hate the idea that she's the sister, but in isolation, if it stops at part 2, it probably works. Because the story's over, Michael's dead and burning, Dr. Loomis is dead, Laurie has survived. If that's the end of the motivation, if it ends there, it works in isolation. Because that revelation doesn't sully a bunch of fucking sequels that come later. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, it probably does work in isolation as a double feature. Probably.
But just barely.
Right. Skin of your teeth. It's just barely.
You just, by the skin of your teeth, you
Yeah.
didn't overdo it.
Because they haven't overdone the exposition or the fucking motivation of this fucking character. This character is still mostly unmotivated. Like I said, if you just look at it from the standpoint of a serial killer trying to repeat, like let's say he's not hunting down his bloodline, he might be trying to repeat the kill, and he just happens to know he's got a sister, so he's going to repeat that with her because she's 17, just like his big sister was. He's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what lunatics do. They don't think like us. But like it's not some sacred Celtic ritual involving the fucking Stonehenges. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe in isolation, 1 and 2 works with the bullshit revelation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we're talking about them not doing too much, but maybe they were scared of doing too little as well.
Yeah.
They had to have something.
Like I said, yeah.
Still,
It's complicated.
it's hard to forget those later ones.
That's the problem. Is like I can't get my brain off of like Halloween 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, and God forbid fucking 8.
Because the things that it set in motion.
Right. That's the problem. Is that other shit's burning into my brain, dude.
That's like
Wait.
decades worth of movies that just.
Yeah, like 20 years of fucking garbage, essentially. All right, so in isolation,
50-50.
in isolation, Halloween 1 and 2 does work as a double feature, despite my reservations.
My doctor told me to drink more bourbon.
Your doctor's a bad doctor. Dr. Lipschitz.
Rugrats?
I can't believe you fucking remember that.